1, 2.
Before we get going on this episode of the Clarinet Ninja podcast, if you don't know, you should know there's 3 other episodes with this same person, Ron Odrich, Dr. Ron Odrich, that are available and you should listen to them. Because this is the 4th episode, I'm just going to go ahead and spit out his entire bio right now. And by the way, your bio should include liking and subscribing to the Clarinet Ninja on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Please like and subscribe. Even go to my Amazon store. Buy some stuff. Cool. That would be amazing. That's a great way to support the efforts that I make to make this content. If you like it, first of all, thank you for listening. Thank you for liking it. But that's a great way to help me at no cost to you. So keep that in mind as you go forward. But keep in mind, Ron Odrich, the quick bio, real fast, is studied clarinet with Daniel Bonade. Oh my God. Was good friends and studied with Robert Marcellus. Incredible. Was inspired by, studied with, and was friends with Buddy DeFranco. Good friends of Eddie Daniels. Played with Eddie Daniels, Buddy DeFranco, Clark Terry, you name it. Jazz clarinet player. Incredible. So, let's just say it's me. I studied with the greatest classical clarinet players of the last 100 years. I played with jazz luminaries. A successful life. Well, I got news for you. Ron Odrich, Dr. Ron Odrich, was also a practicing periodontist up until about 10 years ago. Not just a practicing periodontist, he was Leonard Bernstein's dentist, and dentist to all sorts of other musicians in New York City, and some famous ones as well. I don't know the whole list. I don't know that side of his life quite as well, but listen, he talks about what he knows about our mouth, which is a lot more than most of us know about our mouth, and how that can help us with our clarinet playing. An incredible insight for us that he gave to us in the first 3 episodes. Go check those out. In this 4th episode, he gives us something better. How to pursue a life that you can accomplish amazing things. He doesn't give it to us in a straight line, and I think it's because it can't be given that way. I'll give you the nutshell version of it, but you should hear him talk about it. Pursue what you care about. Pursue it with joy. With reckless abandon. Really feel that drive, because that drive is going to give you more energy to pursue that thing and other things that you want in your life. It actually is something that is not only self-sustaining, it actually builds. And it's amazing to hear him talk about it. So with no further ado, let's get right into that. See you at the end. Like, subscribe. Don't forget that stuff. Do that. Okay, bye. Welcome to the Clarinet Ninja podcast. My name is Jay Hassler. I'm here to bring you the finest in clarinet information and entertainment. Check out the Clarinet Ninja Dojo if you haven't. And if you get through this and you feel like liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, look at the show notes. Look at the description if you're on YouTube. Check out the Clarinet Ninja Dojo. And with no further ado, let me introduce, in the last of a series of conversations, Mr. Ron Odrich.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Before I really knew you, the main way in which people describe you in terms of your dentistry career is they say, Ron, he is an elite periodontist. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but you're held in high regard and have had an incredible successful career with that. Also, held up in equally high regard as a clarinet player. Hey there. Welcome back. And held up equally as high regard as a clarinetist. Successfully had lots of kids, been a successful father, and from all the things I know. How does one balance all these things? I know in my small life, where I'm not an elite anything, I have a hard time getting to all the things that I want to do and need to do. And I'm curious to know, when you're trying to do all those things, how do you manage to find the time and to budget the time and to figure it all out? Give us a secret.
I don't know the answer to that one either, because actually, I'll tell you the truth. I can never get. I've been retired now for 10 years. I have to go to bed at night before I've done about 1/3 of what I wanted to do that day, and it's just kind of the story of my life. Because first of all, the answer, how did I handle everything? I was lucky enough to marry someone who we grew up together and stayed together, and we love each other. And so that helps a great deal, number one. Number two, I had 3 children and 7 grandchildren, and now 4 or 5 great-grandchildren. And luckily, everything is hung together so that I've been able to do what I wanted to do from the very beginning, really, which was to meld 2 careers together and be happy doing both of them. And I just make as much time as I can possibly make, but I'm always under the gun because I always want to do a lot more. Because I do a lot of things, and I like to write. I've written a novel. I like to paint. I like to write. I love to play. I love to.
I didn't know you were a painter until I walked in this room.
These are all my paintings.
Well, I figured that as soon as I walked in here, but I actually didn't know that you did that prior to.
I don't publicize
today.
it. Well, no, Well, the story is the way I grew up. Actually, I can't. I almost feel guilty taking credit for any of this kind of stuff because I had the kind of a father who, when the very fact that he was doing what he was doing, when I'm telling this story about, I was about 10 years old. He was 38. I figured out the math as an adult. At the time, I just thought it was normal. My father was an accomplished cellist and a very, very fine color. He was on his way to becoming a doubler, and it was at the time that his friend Salamato had convinced him to learn how to be an oboist, magic cellist, right?
Yeah.
Be an oboist. He's 38 years old. I never did the math until 10 years ago, and I realized this guy was 38 years old as a fine cellist, and to learn how to play the oboe. I mean, he was, the reason why I'm telling you that is because at the time I was a little kid, and there he was in the living room of the house and the dining room of the house, and he was making reeds and practicing the oboe. And I walked in, and I remember standing and watching him, and he said, "What?" I said, "I want to paint." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, I want to paint." He said, "Okay." Puts down the oboe, puts me in the car, drives me to the art supply store, walks me into the art supply store, and the guy looks at me and says, "What do you want to paint?" He said, "Watercolor or oil?" I said, "I don't know." So I became a watercolorist. I got a book about watercoloring. A guy by the name of O'Hara was the instructor. I got the paper. I got the paints. It's a very, very strange kind of a thing because it's I don't know. I was really trying very hard to get things together to be able to play and also to paint. And my father just took me home, as in the story, took me home, put the oboe back in his mouth, set me up with an easel with paints, and so I became a painter. So I've been painting since I was 10 years old. I look at that and I say, yeah, okay, all right. I was talented, and I used to spend a lot of time. I never got any lessons, and I learned how to paint by myself. Yeah, but the clarinet was there. My father was there. I got my supporting from my mother's parents who lived with us. So I spoke 3 languages. I spoke Italian, Neapolitan, with my grandfather, who was a 12-year graduate from the University of Rome. I mean, how many Italian-American families does this happen in? That's the reason why when people say, "Oh, you're a Renaissance man, you're this and that." I mean, I think most people who grew up in my environment, and we weren't wealthy or anything like that, but we had a supporting system that allowed me to do what you're asking me about. It allowed me to be able to paint, to write, to use the English language properly as well as I can. My father was in charge of that. He was the Yaley who insisted we use the right verbs and the right language, and my grandfather who taught us, my brother and me, every day, and we got report cards for the Italian language, and my grandmother who spoke Neapolitan dialect. I mean, this kind of a rich background.
Yeah.
If you have a reasonable amount of personality, let's say, it's going to be hard to not wind up doing what I did. So yes, I know I sound like I'm being super modest. I'm not. I mean, really, I thought about this because you're not the first person to ask me the question. Yes, I felt very confident by the time it came for me to decide to go to Juilliard or go to dental school. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew I could do it. But I only knew those things because I grew up in the kind of a family I grew up in.
There's 2 things there that you tossed in that are I think a lot of people don't have. I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with that.
Sure.
I know I have. But I guess the thing that I struggle with, and maybe you can give more direct insight into this, is was there a process by which you decided of the things in front of me right now, which one gets the primary attention?
Yeah, that's a good question. But, I think the fact that I was in the environment that I was in, it was a natural sequence for me to just feel an urge to do something that appealed to me. I used to look at the Maggie Jiggs cartoons on the weekends, and I would copy. I could do every caricature that I was looking at. I would just take a piece of paper and ordinary, just because that's what I felt like doing.
Right.
But I think the fact that there are a couple of ways of looking at that. Yeah, I had to have whatever it takes to do that, and to know that what I was sketching was good. It looked exactly like what I was trying to sketch. So I was doing that automatically, back as far as I can remember. But I was secure in not even questioning that. I don't know if that answers that, but it was a feeling that, yeah, I want to do that. I can do that. I'll do it. I do it, and I do it, and I do it. And then they say, "Oh, that looks nice, Ron. That's very nice." And Dad, I want to learn how to paint. Yeah, well, come on, let's go learn how to paint. I'm going to play the clarinet. Well, I'll get you a clarinet. I mean, it's not that they were permissive, because there were limits. There were things that we could afford and we could not afford. But I was brought up to feel, and it was communicated to me, I think, just because of the warmth in the family and the relationship I had with my older brother and my aunt and my mother and my grandmother and grandfather. We were all one big family in one house.
Right.
And I think all of those, the composite of all of those factors, I think made for a child who, I felt, I want to do that, it gets done. So I get up in the morning now, and I feel very much an extension of that person, because I don't know which hat to wear. Am I going to paint today? So I have the painting over there. Just before you came, I did some things on the painting that I wanted to highlight, and I'm looking at them from here, and it worked. It doesn't always work, but I'm playing the clarinet, and I'm writing something, a piece I'm writing for the International Clarinet Association, and I'm dealing with the local board of directors for Fieldston. They're all the things that I'm doing that are so much part of my daytime and my life, that in answer to your question, I don't have a simple answer. All I can tell you is that 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night comes much too quickly.
Like a task that I don't want to do. I just finished organizing my taxes for the accountant today.
Yeah.
And I feel such extreme resistance to doing that task.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the things that has not come up in a conversation with you is you ever feeling you had to push past a point of resistance. Like you've been able to approach things that, however, like inherently, like your approach to it takes away those resistance points.
Yeah, I do have those experiences, of course.
No, I'm sure you don't have
if I'm an old guy, if I wanted to do things on the internet or on my phone, it's a huge pain in the neck, and I actually dislike a lot of what's going on. I dislike having to. I just called this morning for some help for something I wanted to get out of my phone. The thing that drives me crazy with these things, that even though I have made it a point to not be upgraded automatically, the iPhone upgrades automatically, and I have a new structure in my hand. And at my point in life, I don't want to have a new structure. I want to see my old friend that I know was going to work the way I want it, damn it. And they took it away from me, and it pisses me off. I get very angry about it. Yeah, no, I've experienced frustrations in my life. Well, not everything is meant of cherries.
But I feel like your approach to things in terms of the way we like something that we've decided we want to do versus something that comes to us, like taxes or a phone update. When I hear you talk about learning the clarinet, and like I feel like you did a lot of learning of the clarinet that was very self-directed, that seems to be all done in a way that allowed you to do something, accept what happened, and then continue to learn without feeling that frustration of, oh, that didn't work. Yeah, but I'm sure that did happen in some way. It had to
Oh
have
yeah,
happened.
absolutely, absolutely.
But there's a persistence in all things that you have approached in your life that has there may have been many, there could have been 100 more things you did quit at, but like it seems like you persisted in a way that was, like water. You just kept on.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the word is facilitated. I think that yes, there were things when I was frustrated. I'm sure, I can't think of one right now, but I mean, I have experienced things that didn't work out. I've given performances sometimes, and I say it's really awful. I mean, it's really terrible. I've got to be able to fix that, and then I try to fix it, and succeed at it. But I can't imagine ever really having bumped up against some difficulties that, although they've existed. Sure, I can think of them. There are points where it's been disappointing or that kind of thing. But I have so many. You're right, though. I have so many other outlets that I don't do my taxes.
I don't do mine either. I just organize them for somebody else,
Yeah.
and that's too much for me.
Right.
I did get them finished today, though.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
My daughter. She's 8.
Oh, I love
Lovely.
her.
She's
lovely.
fantastic. She's a
Oh,
big fan of
girl,
yours.
She's a sweetheart.
I bought her a clarinet.
You did.
Well, it's just a teeny.
There are two answers to that now. I thought you loved her.
Well, because she said she wanted the clarinet, so very much like your dad in the past. I bought a clarinet.
Absolutely.
I bought her a really good E-flat clarinet mouthpiece to go along with it.
Good.
But I'm going to play it wicked tonight because it's just as good as the one I have, probably a little bit better. So, but her response to it has been not that engaged. She is very distracted with other things that she wants to do.
Sure.
And so we were trying to play a little bit last night, and she was. You could see it was almost interesting to her. Like I almost felt like it locked in for her, but I didn't push her. But like I feel like you were very drawn into those things.
Yeah, I came at it at an older age of that, of course, because a child that age doesn't really know what she wants or doesn't want.
Sure.
But no, you're very good as a good father. This is what you're interested in. Let's try it. And she may or may not be ready for it at this point, but facilitating anything that she's interested in is even if she winds up not being terribly interested in it, because she expressed an interest in getting a clarinet. Right. Okay. So that didn't work out, or maybe it will work out. But the point is that I think the key is that you facilitated it. You see, and I think her approach to it is, okay, this is great. It's not really what I wanted. What's next? And I think it's that kind of feeling, rather than the fact that she's going to be a clarinet player or not. I think that my family gave me, like I think about this. What does it take for a 10-year-old to go to his father and say, I want to paint? I mean, yeah, that kind of reaction is get in the car, let's go and get some paints. I mean, and then maybe I wouldn't have liked it and I wouldn't have done it. But the very fact that she has a father who's sensitive enough to know she may want to be a clarinet player, so let's get a clarinet. It doesn't work out. It may work out a little later on, which happens with children.
Sure. Yeah.
Or it may not ever work out. But the fact, I think, and I'm not blowing smoke at you, I think the key in that story is really the fact that you got her the clarinet and that she tried it. And she's experiencing trying something.
Right.
And work out or not, I think that's the element. If you want my answer, I think the answer is someone who comes along and says, yeah, do it.
Right.
And that becomes imbued. I mean, she's learning, I wanted to play the clarinet, Dad got me the clarinet. I don't think that's conscious, but I think that burns a hole in our nervous system somewhere that says, this is kind of the way it works. It works for me to want this. I get it. It's okay. Right? Or I get it and wow, that's terrific. Or I get it. I hate it. But you get it.
Right.
And I think that's really the answer to a lot of your questions with me. because that's why I may seem to you like I'm being modest or anything like that. I'm really not. I'm being truthful. And I think it's that engagement between parent and child that makes this all work.
And one of the things I love about the classes I teach in the dojo is that adults come and they're adults that have done great things, right? And so just to say that, like, I think that everybody knows how hard it is to be really good at one thing,
Sure.
right? And it takes a lot of drive.
Especially the clarinet. By the way.
Sure, sure. But the people in the dojo are coming for that, right? They didn't already do that, otherwise they wouldn't be with me. I feel exhausted trying to get good at one thing, and that's one of the things in the pandemic was really interesting because I learned how to use a computer. I learned how to record things. I learned how to do all this stuff.
There you are.
But I'm exhausted in having learned it, and I do remember, and I still say it every once in a while now. I don't want to learn any more stuff. I don't want to learn any more stuff. Like I'm just getting a handle on what I know, right? And I don't want to get better at it before I learn new things. But I feel like, in terms of, studying with great classical players, really honing your craft as a jazz musician, being a periodontist and having a family, those are like all huge things, right? That there's an inherent motor in you that allows you to just be going.
It doesn't allow me, it makes me.
Well, one of the things that I like to talk about is like somebody having drive versus somebody who's being motivated in some way extrinsically.
Yeah. One of the answers I should give you, because it's the real honest one, and it's something I know about myself, for better or for worse, is that I actually, and my father did this to me, good or not so good, that I, unless I've done something creative, I don't know what that sounds like, but unless I've done something creative, like painting, like writing, like playing, like composing, like working out, like riding my bike better, I really am dissatisfied. I'm dissatisfied at the end of the day if I look back and I really didn't do something that was creative. And I've figured that out myself. What is there about this that doesn't feel good at the end of the day? And I look back, did I do any painting? Did I do, it's like, it's not that my father held me to task, but my father used to come home from work playing somewhere or whatever, and he said, what'd you do today? And, and it wasn't like a comeuppance. It was something that was sincere and showed an interest in, and put me in a spot where I had to think about, what did I do today? What I learned in school. My grandfather used to do that to me. I would come home, che cosa hai imparato oggi, Rinaldo? And what have you learned today? And I would go through what I learned in math or what I did.
Right.
There was it's a kind of a motor that was, I wouldn't say driven, but it's natural. It's become burned. I think I would say it's become part of my nervous system.
Right.
It's like the whole business of teaching children as their nervous system is developing, and it becomes an inherent factor that you can't take credit for. I mean, it's just that way. I feel, honestly, I hear you. There's something comforting in what you're saying. I've learned what I've learned, and I'm happy with what I've learned, and I've accomplished what I've learned. I just don't want to learn anything new. I'm going to be good at really doing this, which I think is a very accomplished thing, and I think it's a very good thing. On the other side of the coin is, what have I learned today? And that's a difference, and it's not what have I learned, but what am I going to do?
Well, I just want to be clear that like I feel like I've built a website, I've created a curriculum.
You've done a lot of
but then when it comes to like, okay, how do you market that? And then to get I just feel exhausted. I feel like I don't.
Do you want to market it?
Well, yeah, probably, yes. I think that's exactly the right question. There is some resistance into that, but here's the thing: I want the result of marketing. I want more people to learn how to play the clarinet and enrich their lives and have a wonderful experience. I want that.
Well,
But do I want to do the salesy part of it? Like that, I feel uncomfortable with that. You're right. I feel very uncomfortable with that.
no, but I think you're motivated. Yes, to take this not just because it's your motivation, but a motivation to do anything. And what motivates you is you want to make people feel better about themselves, or more accomplished, or accomplish something that is gratifying. I mean, that's a great goal, great motivating force. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah. Do you want to do the nickel and dime part of it? Do you want to get involved with marketing and all that kind of thing? Well, if it's part of that, I suppose you have to. You don't have to love that, but you can still do it. And I think, I think that's. But there's an accomplished end in mind there, which
Right.
is good. I think it's very good. And whether you learn something new, marketing might even be fun.
Maybe. I feel like I'm in training to be like a sleazy used car salesman or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I get, like the paradigm of sales in general kind of feels weird. Okay, this question just popped into my head. Would you say there's a difference in what it takes to like go through dental school and become a periodontist, which has a bit of a defined ending to it, as opposed to your clarinet playing, which, as I understand it, you never had a specific goal in mind. You just liked playing the clarinet and you liked playing well.
Yeah.
Is there a difference to approaching?
No,
two
because
tasks
I
like
felt
that?
the same way about dentistry. It wasn't just becoming a dentist and getting in an office. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, here I was, pure serendipity. I wound up as an actor playing jazz on a Tony-winning, awarded play on Broadway. And how I got there had nothing to do with my volition. I mean, it really, I resisted going there.
Right.
It turned out I only went for I resisted being cast that way, but my family heard, you're going to be in a Broadway show, blah, blah, blah. My family, my kids, my wife, and my wife told me, go and do it, because most of those things are failures after 4 weeks anyway, and so you'll be part of your CV. So you're like, all right. I wind up and it becomes a hit, then I'm stuck, and then I had to work my ass off, myself, forgive me, I had to work myself into a sweat to get out of it. And dentistry, believe it or not, and the reason why I'm telling you that story, sounds like I'm blowing steam, I'm not. What I'm saying is, I realized that much more interesting for me to be a dentist in my office than it is standing on a stage and getting applause from an audience night after night, 8 shows a week. And everybody assumed I was going to go to Hollywood and I was going to do it. It didn't work out that way. It worked out that I did that. It's okay. I'm glad I did it, but I want to get me out of here. This is not what I want, And I wound up being much happier, not being a dentist, but what was involved in being a dentist to a lot of musicians. And I had some wonderful, wonderful patients, very accomplished musicians, and really wonderful, wonderful people, and doing a service for them that I was very good at and was very highly trained to do, and was teaching also. So that combination made it much more exciting to be. And how many conversations can you have by saying the dentistry was a lot more exciting than being on a stage on a hit? I mean, it really is true.
I think so much of that comes from what somebody brings to it. So there's something about keeping the mundane is not the right word, but the daily activities, keeping them fresh and alive and a creative endeavor.
Sure.
Right. That I think is largely lost to people just feeling like they're trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
And I certainly had moments in my life where I'm just trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
And I
we all have. We all have.
And I feel fortunate. The pandemic was hard, and I, not being married at the end of the pandemic, but at the beginning, like, it was a whole bunch of stuff. But somehow or another through it, I found an energy to like do constructive and positive things. That then all of a sudden I realized, oh, wait a minute. Here's how you build more energy.
Yeah.
Like you do positive things, you do creative things, you do meaningful things.
Creative things look, as far as I'm concerned, that really is the key to everything. If you can do something creative, whatever it is digging a ditch or putting a building together. I think sculpting, I think in architecture and I mean, just even walking outside and enjoying the world as it is part of something that really feeds your creativity and allows you to do things like playing the clarinet, like teaching, like doing seminars, like doing things that are meaningful and creative. I think that's the whole thing. I think if you fall into And from what I see, a lot of people do fall into a hole where you're doing something day in and day out. And if I looked upon dentistry that way, I would die. I mean, it was never like that. It was always meeting people. It was always doing something that works for people. It was always way beyond making a living. I mean, it's always the creative aspect of playing the clarinet, of improvising, of learning a new tune. When you came here, I'm just looking at this new. I went to this concert the other night that just absolutely blew me away. Julian Lage. You know who he is?
I've heard the name.
Oh man, get something on a video in the internet and listen, watch him play. He's stupendous. The 1,000% musician, all by himself on the guitar, and he just plays the guitar, but he plays it like you're listening to a symphonic orchestra. And you know, those are the kind of things that recharge your battery.
I tell myself that all the time. Like, I live in New York City. It's expensive. It's a pain in the ass. But you can go any night and go get inspired.
You've got it right. Absolutely. And we're living in a place where we're right near a city, we're the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
And you can get the ballet, you can get the opera, you can get symphonic music, you can hear chamber music, you can go down, you can go to a jazz club, you can go to a great restaurant, you can go to a lousy restaurant. I mean, there's so many things available to us in this life here that I don't understand how anybody can be less interested. There are a lot of free things. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to spend a lot of money doing these things. I mean, I used to go to work. I purposely parked at Lincoln Center so I'd have to walk across the park to get to my office. So I would walk across and come back. I mean, where can you do that?
Yeah.
Where can you live in an area where you can walk in the streets and it's beautiful out, or not walk on the streets and you just drive down to where you want to go and have access to things in Westchester and things, and be 20 minutes away from the biggest city in the world.
I got home from work in February, one Friday, and I was sitting there and I thought, okay, so Paquito's playing down like near Lincoln Center. Should I go? I thought, yeah,
absolutely.
The answer is yes, you should go. I was tired, and I had to, for a moment, drag myself out of the house to do it.
But good for you.
Did go, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple people I hadn't seen in years. It was very rewarding to see them. Met a couple new people. Got to go talk to Paquito, say hello. And we don't really know him, but it was a really rewarding experience, and the music was great.
Isn't he wonderful?
He's amazing.
He's wonderful.
Really
what
amazing.
A wonderful human being. He's a great guy. He's funny. Got a great sense of humor. Really loves what he's doing. He's so good at what he does.
Well, and another person who does a lot of things. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it just.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what he does outside of music, but within music, he does a lot of things.
Great writer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great arranger and composer. He's wonderful.
Yeah, and he's generous in spirit. He's generous with his
anybody
time,
who plays clarinet that well, I have special regard for.
But speaking of generous with their time, thank you for all of this, Ron.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's a lot of fun, man.
This is
enjoy talking
amazing.
about it.
It's great to be here, and thank you to everybody that's listening to the Clarinet Ninja podcast.
Best of everything with this. I think what you're doing is great. I think anybody who's pushing the clarinet, learning how to play the clarinet, the most daunting instrument in the world, but also the most rewarding.
The thing that I love the most about the group that comes together for the Clarinet Ninja Dojo is how much we've taken what we learned in Zoom, learned in the pandemic. Mm-hmm. We can apply it to Zoom. We can learn the clarinet as a group, which adult clarinet players don't get to do.
Right.
Kids learn to play in band. They learn together.
Right.
And it's incredible to have a community of people who all know each other. They become friends, even though none of us have met in real life, and care about the results everybody's getting and support of it. It's amazing.
Good.
So, listen, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, man. So that's it. 4 episodes with Dr. Ron Odrich. Ron, thank you for your time. It's an incredible gift to me, and hopefully to everybody that's listened, that you gave to us with all that information that is so useful to all of us trying to find our way into playing the clarinet well and to having the success that we want, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, that we deserve in our lives. And you're an inspiration, and your kindness is really something that helps us all. So thank you. We'll see everybody back here again, Clarinet Ninja on YouTube, Clarinet Ninja podcast. Check it all out. Like and subscribe everywhere you go. Leave a nice comment. and an honest comment. Let's hope those are the same comment. Love you. See ya. Bye.